That's it! That's it! Tokido is the Evolution 2017 champion!
Everyone always makes a joke about prep time Daigo because he would just study you, find out your weaknesses, and defeat you. So as long as you give him time to study, he's always gonna win.
He sees Daigo as like the number one, right? Like the number one person that he's chasing to be better than, not as a player. He doesn't care about success or winning championships. And you can see how much it affected him to put everything he had in the set and then still lose.
！Just one thing I want to say, fighting game is something so great.
Hey folks, before we get into the meat of the video, I just want to remind you to please sub to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to see more great fighting game videos like this, or any kind of videos that we do, a sub really does mean a lot. Anyway, if you know anything about fighting games, you've heard of Tokido.
And that is going to be dizzy, and that, oh no, the murder face too early. And he's up in front of the screen. That is unprecedented. And K-Brad's like, did that just happen?
He's one of the most successful fighting game players of all time, with more Street Fighter V trophies and top 8 finishes than anyone else in the world. And in 2017, he took home his first main stage EVO trophy, cementing his legacy as one of the best to ever do it.
He jumped onto it.
Oh,
He baited the throw.
That's it! That's it! Tokido is the Evolution 2017 champion!
Tokido was on top of the world, but in his mind, he was still chasing his greatest rival, Daigo.
I think, oh, now I want to challenge Daigo because 5 years ago I was, I'm good, but I'm not the best. But now I can show I'm best. Then I challenge him.
Let's go back in time a bit. These days, most fighting game tournaments play best 2 out of 3 sets, or 3 out of 5 in some cases. But that wasn't always the case. See, back in the days of arcade fighting games, you stayed on the machine as long as you were winning. And when 2 great players faced off, they played as long a set as they could manage.
One of the reasons why a lot of people like first and tens or kind of, treat them as super important is because it gives people a chance to adjust, and it makes sure that people feel like it's more accurate in terms of who's a better player.
So I do think first tens is definitely a myth, I guess a magical thing where it will prove that I am better than you right now. And then the person losing the first 10 is gonna go back home, mad salty, and then they're gonna be like, yo, I need to find a way to kind of like figure this out so I can win next time.
And in the world of super long first to 10 sets, no one was better than Daigo Umehara. Daigo earned his nickname, the Beast, during his rise to FGC superstardom in the 90s and early 2000s. And by the 2010s, he was more than just the best player in the world. He was a legend. From the most famous play in fighting games, to being the first person in Japan to be sponsored for playing video games, effectively making him the grandfather of Japanese esports. And though he wasn't winning back-to-back EVOs like he was when Street Fighter IV came out, Daigo was still unstoppable when you gave him time to prepare.
Everyone always makes a joke about prep time Daigo, and so when he's given an opportunity to know who his opponent is and study them and figure out what their weaknesses are and how to beat them, it's just very, very potent, and it's hard to beat a person with that kind of mindset that he has.
Meanwhile, Tokido was, well, he was great, but he wasn't a star. He was known as a jack of all trades, great at any fighting game he touched, but a true master of none. Meanwhile, Daigo was the single best Street Fighter IV player in the world, and he proved it in 2013. Daigo faced off against the defending EVO Champion, Infiltration, to prove which of them was truly the best. The event was called Mad Catz Unveiled, and they would face off in a 1-to-10 match at Tokyo Game Show. But before the match, Daigo brought in Tokido to get a little bit of practice in for the Akuma matchup.
The day before Matcast unveiled, he asked me, let's practice. Then he beat me. He destroyed me. It was the most shocked experience for me. It's same humankind, but he's another level.
And the next day, Daigo's match against Infiltration wasn't even close.
You know, we're witnessing two things here. We're witnessing a test to Daigo's skill, but also Tokido's ability to teach.
Yeah.
You know?
Daigo Umehara, you got that Infiltration handshake. A very convincing win here.
And while Daigo was obliterating Infiltration 10-2, Tokido was rethinking his life.
It was 5 years ago. He beat me very bad. So I had to change my mind. I have to be, at least I want to be the best, or I couldn't survive in the fighting game community. Then I completely changed my mind. I stopped playing any other fighting game. Then I stick to play only one game.
Even though no one saw it, Tokido's loss to Daigo was a wake-up call. It made him change everything, from the way he practiced to the way he lived.
いや、Tokidoの場合って他の変化したプレイヤーとはまた俺ちょっと違うなと思ってて、おそらく本質はそんなに変わってないと思うんですよ。だけど、その自分に足りないなっていう部分を意識して変化させようと思っていて、それでまあ皆さんが変化したように見えているのかなとは思います。
Tokido remade his entire life, all so he could become the best, all so he could beat Daigo.
I want to show my effort by be the best player for me. So it's Daigo.
Daigo is currently the best?
Yes. And my name is, Hajime?
Yeah, Hajime.
Hajime is...
Number 1.
Yes. My grandfather's name me become number 1.
And all those changes paid off. Tokido spent the next 4 years winning just about everything. He'd accomplished anything a professional fighting game player could ever hope for.
That's gonna do it, Tokido, your Canada Cup 2019 Street Fighter V champion.
He was even a world champion.
Just one thing I want to say. Fighting game is something so great.
And yet, while the confetti was raining down and the crowd was chanting his name, Tokido wasn't satisfied. He still had one more opponent to beat. He still had to face Daigo. The stage was set. Tokido would face off against Daigo in a 1-10 at Kemonomichi, Daigo's show match series. Both players hit the lab, studying each other's matches, but Daigo took things a step further. First, Daigo found a young up-and-coming Akuma player, Otani, and took him under his wing, helping him improve, even teaching him to play more like Tokido. And then, Daigo spent day after day destroying him. Meanwhile, the hype was building for the show match.
今だったらちょっと分かってきたんですよ。あの時あの人が何を思ってこれまでどういう思いをして格闘ゲームに取り組んできたのか。やっぱあの人以上に真剣に取り組んでる人いないですもん。
取り組み方は世界的に見てはもうトップって言っていいんじゃないですか。昔はねやっぱりちょっと手段だったなと思うんですよ。こいつ格ゲー手段にしてるな。だけど最近は格闘ゲームそのものがこいつにとっての人生の針というか目的というかそういう感じになってきてるなっていうのは見て思いますね。
Based on recent tournament performances, everyone figured Tokido was kind of a lock. He had just won EVO and come second at Capcom Cup. But you can never underestimate Daigo.
トリガーを溜まりそう。さあこれ溜まった。さあ梅原もさあトリガー中。ここでTokido。うわーしかし玉抜け EX 様。ここは梅原が前に出る卓球キック。シェー足でさあこれは届くか届いている。お見事。クリードは梅原のガイドになった。もう一勝。そしてリバースリー本命が来て。さあサンチも近いが下段でさあ。きっちりとフィニッシュまでまた親に取られおうまく返して抜けるそして一つ何を見せるか5パン一つ危ないしかなかったか歴史的一戦
Daigo crushed Tokido, 10-5. Tokido just didn't have an answer for Daigo's new innovative Guile playstyle, and Daigo proved that with preparation in a long set, he's untouchable. Tokido had been outperforming Daigo in tournaments for years now, but on that stage, the one he'd worked so hard to reach, he was nowhere near Daigo's level.
He sees Daigo as like the number one, right? Like the number one person that he's chasing to be better than, not as a player. He doesn't care about like success or winning championships in like comparison to him, but as he is as like a model player, and how like, he basically went to Daigo's court. He was like, he is known to be the best in long sets against really good opponents. So for me to be better than him, I need to win championships, I need to study hard, I need to be like a face of the community, and I need to be better than him at like what he's the best at, right? So he set his goals like extremely high in trying to beat Daigo in that set. And you can see how much it affected him to put everything he had in the set and then still lose. Obviously there's like that hill that he can't pass to get past Daigo in that regards in his mind.
Tokido was devastated.
So here Fudo immediately is saying this is painful for him to watch too. He said Daigo was incredibly strong, and that loss for Tokido hurts Fudo as well as Tokido. You can see it all over his face.
Tokido knew that if he wanted to reach Daigo's level, he would have to keep on climbing. So he threw himself back into his training. 2 years after their epic clash, Daigo and Tokido were set to face off again. It wasn't quite a 1-10, but it presented Tokido with an opportunity. A real, serious, long set against Daigo, with the entire world watching.
大きな思いを今一度確かめるとき、梅原ガイル対時の動き、行ってみましょう。出て技を振るようになってきたが、
一発です圏内。
いやー、打初球仕込んである。これは恐ろしいプレーになった。2.6 本、7本、8本と。あー、危ない。ゲージが溜まっている。上からの関谷クーレサーの鬱憤を梅原にぶつけるか。投げ抜ける。苦しい。最後は投げて完全勝利。完全リベンジ成功。
Tokido finally reached the top of the mountain he'd been climbing for nearly a decade. He'd finally beaten Daigo, and it wasn't even close. He was finally the best. Today, Tokido has accomplished everything he's ever set out to do. He's the face of Street Fighter. He's an EVO champion. He's got his own personal sponsor. He's defeated his rival. He's become a legend, and the world will never forget his name.
Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, hit the sub button and ring that notification bell. For unique bite-sized videos you won't find anywhere else, hit up our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook pages.